Today, I'm going to teach you how to negotiate any deal. I'm going to equip you with 3 things to do and 3 things not to do to achieve success. I've learned these things by spending thousands of hours and dollars on mentorship by some people that are very, very, very high level. I've put in my 10,000 hours in my business. My name is Konikow. I own a real estate brokerage and a production company with my beautiful wife. All this content is free. I'm not actually going to sell you anything, but if you want to get all of these tips and tricks and how we actually built the business, it's all free. It's going to be on our YouTube channel on future or past episodes. So let me know who you are, where you're from. I would love to know who is here. So let's get right into it. So we're going to do this in reverse order. So let's talk about 3 things not to do, starting with number 3, and that is feel you have to actually decide right now. So I'm going to give you one of the best tools in negotiation. It's called deference of authority. I said I own my companies with my beautiful wife, which I do, and I make all decisions with her. But quite often, even if it's something I know I can decide on my own, I'll always tell them I have to check in with my partner. Puts a pause in the negotiation, allows you to step back. If I'm getting emotional or whatnot, it gives me that extra juice to go back and analyze how I want to approach the negotiation. Number 2, second thing not to do, don't get attached to transaction. I'll use realist as the lens to look this one through as if it's the only house that's ever going to exist. There's always going to be more inventory, and the one that's willing to walk away is the one that holds the power. The number 1 thing not to do was buried in the first 2, and it's don't get emotional. People make rash decisions and big mistakes when they're getting emotional in a transaction. Actually, if you're negotiating against somebody who's very skilled, quite often they're going to make comments and do things to throw you off your game, distract you from what you're actually focused on to get you focused on something else so they can win the negotiation. So whenever somebody tries to get me, in that emotional place, I'll picture myself on the side of the river, look at my emotions floating down the river and think, independent of my emotions, what outcome am I trying to achieve? Now let's talk about the 3 things to do in a negotiation. You do is do your research on the person that you're negotiating against. What are their motivations? What's their communication style, habits, reputation? I'm ultra high energy. I'm not always like this depending on what negotiation I am entering into. The track record of that person. Are they scrupulous, unscrupulous? What rules are they playing by? Because you'll find a big variety between different people. The second thing that you should be doing is thinking about an A, B, and C plan, if not X, Y, Z. And I'm talking exit strategy. So if your negotiation strategy doesn't work out of the gate, what are your alternatives? If you can have some alternatives that make you very happy and interchange different pieces of the negotiation to get you ultimately what you want, it puts you in a position where you can move faster, and speed kills in negotiation. And the number 1 tip that I think you should be able to do in any negotiation is walk away. Not always easy. I know it's easy for me to say here on a quick YouTube video, but if you can actually be in that mindset of being able to walk away from a transaction, the person who actually is willing to walk away holds all the power. So not getting attached, using some of these other tools may put you in a better position to succeed in a negotiation. If you've used any of these tools or you are going to use them, let me know in the comments. Again, I'd love to know where you are from so we can curate more content. What type of stuff do you want to see? Again, we're never going to ask you for anything. We're just trying to bring value, and we get better by sharing with the community. So appreciate your time here, and see you next time.